Max Verstappen has been making headlines all over the world of Formula One as we head towards Suzuka, with the four-time world champion's future at Red Bull now under scrutiny. The RB21 has seemingly become a car that's very difficult to manage, and Verstappen's exit clause has recently been revealed by Marco, which is a worrying sign for the team. Red Bull doesn't have much time left to sort out this situation before Max starts considering other teams to call home. With this in mind, the question remains, will the issues get resolved in time? And more importantly, what can Max do to make the best decision of his career? Right now, there's no doubt that Red Bull is in a very questionable position. The Austrian team has been seriously hindered by the performance of the RB21, and the only difference maker is Verstappen himself. The Dutch driver hasn't hesitated to make it clear that he and his team shouldn't expect miracles this year. While 2022 and 2023 were largely dominated by Max, 2024 has been partially affected by McLaren's rise, with Red Bull having to concede the Constructors' Championship not only to the base team of Woking, but also to Ferrari. As such, doubts began to surface even before the 2025 season started, as it was obvious that the development curve for the Austrian team was on the decline. This means Verstappen doesn't have the resources to dominate at the front, and while last year he didn't need the fastest car to do so, this time the situation is different. McLaren seems to be the team to beat, regardless of the nature of the circuit, and with such a strong start in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull is under immense pressure. Not just because of Lawrence Stroll's promotion, but also due to the looming risk of Verstappen leaving the team. One thing is certain. Every top-level driver has an exit clause in their contract, something that was discussed in the documentary Drive to Survive when Verstappen was in contact with Mercedes. Helmut Marko recently reminded everyone of this fact, and at 81 years old, the veteran Austrian has served as a very strong voice. When commenting on the situation, Marko stated that updates are needed for Max to secure his fifth world title, which is the team's ultimate goal, and everyone is working tirelessly to achieve it. Of course, every high-level driver has an exit clause if performance doesn't meet expectations, but each is fine-tuned in a different way, which isn't the main issue at hand. What's concerning fans of Red Bull even more is that Marko has set a deadline for when something might happen during the summer break. While the Dutch driver is only 8 points behind Norris in the Drivers' Championship, the situation looks quite different when it comes to the real expectations for the car's performance. A lot of hope is riding on the RB21 updates, but since the development war for 2024 started, Red Bull has faced numerous obstacles, and it would be safe to assume that failure is more likely than success. Commenting on the situation, Marko added that the summer break is when we'll know more about Max's future. But then again, we're currently in second place in the standings, just 8 points behind the leader, and the summer break is still a long way off. Yes, if Verstappen really decides to switch teams, that would be a good reason for me to leave as well, Marko said. If we look at the recent events at Red Bull, we can see one very important thing. Verstappen is not happy with the team's choices, especially when it comes to putting Lawson in the spotlight so early in the season. The Kiwi driver didn't have enough time to prove himself. 2 races, one of them being a sprint weekend and the other in Australia, simply aren't enough to show if he has what it takes to be a Red Bull driver. Moreover, Lawson was racing these circuits for the first time in his career, yet Max is not satisfied. While Marko confirmed that the best strategy to chase the 5th championship was to bring Tsunoda to the team, it seems that this doesn't sit well with the Dutchman. When delving deeper into the topic, Marko mentioned, "We know that Max is not happy, but we need 2 cars at the front, not only for the Constructors' Championship, but also to help Max secure his 5th world title." It's interesting to see that we're expecting a completely different behavior from Yuki Tsunoda this year. He's been mistake-free in the first weeks, quick, with a new management structure, and full of confidence. A major issue here isn't just the failure in developing the car in the right direction, but the lack of people with enough experience in this matter. I don't want to undermine any of the engineers who work tirelessly at the factories, but Helmut Marko confirmed what we all feared. Newey's knowledge is structural to the car's development. Commenting on the presence of the British mastermind and how it affects the team's long-term vision in solving the car's problems, Marco stated, "Of course, we miss a man like Newey. Newey is Newey, but we're a team of almost 1,000 people, and the team behind him has been built gradually." It's true that the RB21 is difficult to drive. The Red Bull racing car is easier to handle and much faster in a qualifying lap. But in the race, it falls significantly behind the Red Bull racing car. This is the part where a major question needs to be answered. Which team would be the best option for Verstappen in the near future? We know there are two strong candidates who wouldn't refuse the opportunity if it came up: Aston Martin and Mercedes. After Lawrence Stroll's latest moves regarding the team's ownership, it seems that strengthening his position means the seat with Lance will be secure. If a change were to occur, it would have to be as a replacement for Fernando Alonso, who has already stated that he doesn't plan to continue beyond 2026 unless Aston Martin offers him another season, which seems highly unlikely if they see that Max is available for hire. On the other hand, we have Mercedes, a team that has come from behind and was quite popular when Verstappen's name was mentioned, especially after Red Bull's exits last year. Of course, what Hamilton did with them is a move that will haunt them for a long time, but the reality is they need to move forward. In theory, Toto Wolff seems to have his two long-term drivers in Russell and Antonelli, the latter being Mercedes' own driver. But we don't know how he truly feels about the four-time world champion, and this is something that has been proven repeatedly. If the chance to hire Verstappen presents itself, I doubt it's a move he would want to make. The same conviction was shared by Zak Brown, McLaren's team principal, who even mentioned the possibility of Verstappen leaving as early as 2026. He stated that this is an obvious decision for Max since he'll surely be out of the Austrian team when the new engine regulations begin. This insinuates that he knows something we don't know about possible Red Bull failures. Diving deeper into the subject, Zak Brown said he thinks Max will leave at the end of this year, most likely for Mercedes. Aston Martin was also mentioned, with Adrian Newey joining, but as brilliant as Adrian is, and being the best of all, it's necessary to have a complete team around him. It requires the right culture, and that takes time. If I had to bet, I would bet on Mercedes, because in the last 10 years, they've won the championship 7 or 8 times, and last year they won 5 races. They have stability, and we know Toto Wolff likes them. Plus, we believe their high-performance power units are better equipped for the new engine regulations next year. Moreover, Russell's contract ends at the end of this season, and Antonelli is under a series of one-year contracts. If you listen to what Wolff has said on the matter, you'll understand that his statements always come with an enigmatic nature, leaving room for interpretations. Speaking about a possible change in the driver lineup, Wolff stated that he wants to keep his current drivers long-term, but also made it clear that this won't be guaranteed. In internal statements, he commented that it's almost an open secret that they want to keep their drivers long-term, and that not all discussions with the drivers are made public. And that's why things are moving in the direction they should. But such a contract is more than just guaranteeing that the drivers will stay in the car. There are conditions that need to be discussed in the best interest of both the team and the driver, making this a structured process. With all of this in mind, do you think Verstappen will leave Red Bull if the car's development doesn't meet his standards? And more importantly, which team do you believe would be the best option for the 4-time world champion?